We have 1 minute to go. I have 7 o'clock. Are we all ready to go? Do we have enough board members? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're good. Okay. Welcome, everyone. This meeting is being held in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act and is open to the media and public. Notices were duly posted and the meeting was advertised in the Hunterdon County Democrat and the Courier News. Formal action may be taken. Can I get a roll call, please?
Dr. Sorciello.
Here.
Mr. Emmons.
Here.
Mrs. Fiore.
Here.
Mrs. Flores.
Here.
Mrs. Pogorski.
Here.
Mr. Wallace.
Here.
Mr. Zerling.
Here.
Mrs. Hample.
Here.
Mrs. Simon.
Here. Can we stand for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have the superintendent's report now.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Simon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Sounds good. There are several exciting agenda items under the superintendent's report that I want to point out this evening. We'll begin with our RMS school highlight by Mrs. Moffitt and Dr. Moss, and then we'll move into the RMS student presentation, which includes the student inventors of Amera, which stands for Virtual Eager Rolling Automation. Amera is a life-size mobile conferencing device designed to give kids who are remote a physical presence in class, as well as an up-close 360-degree view of what's happening in the classroom. But I'll leave it to Mrs. Freeman and her students to talk more with you. But to begin, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Moffitt, Principal of Redington Middle School, and Dr. Moss, Vice Principal of Redington Middle School, for their RMS presentation this evening. Mrs. Moffitt, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Hart. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure to present some of the great things that are happening in our RMS. It really is an exciting place to be. And first of all, we're so excited our students are back in the building. It is so exciting to see our kids walk through the door every single day. So it's been a really good year. Sorry about that. So, virtual learning was definitely a challenge. But there were some good things that came out of it. One of the things that the teachers really learned how to do was use their Google Classroom properly. And it was a great way for students to have all the resources they needed. So teachers were able to post videos for the students. They were able to post assignments for the students. They were able to post their notes for the day. So even if a student was absent, they were able to catch up through Google Classroom. So what we wanted to do is actually kind of give the board members a taste of what a Google Classroom looks like for you. And then we have an activity that the board members can do, but also anyone who's on the call can also do. It's an RMS escape room. And our teachers use this a lot, and the kids have to fill out one part to get to the second part. So for the board members, we sent you a link to our Google Classroom, but if you can't get on it, don't worry about it. I'm actually going to present my screen now, and I'll kind of walk you through it. One second. Okay. So this is what a Google, can everyone see that?
Yes, Sharon.
Thank you. So this is what a Google Classroom looks like from the student side. And they can see up here is the class code. So if you can't, board members, if you can't get in it, that's fine. There's a class code up here, and you can go to the little waffle and get in Google Classroom that way. But what we can do is we can post different classwork assignments. They could post notes to the students through here. So the first day of school, they'll usually post like a welcome back to the students. And then here I've actually posted the assignment. But Dr. Moss has also put the link into the chat. So anybody can get on and do the Google form, which is an escape room. So I'm going to give you just a few minutes. If you could just go ahead in and see if you can actually answer the questions about RMS, and then we'll review when we're done. All right, so I'll give you a few minutes, see if you can figure out the escape room. It's not too hard, but I know you could do it. All right, so I'll give you a few minutes. And the good news is I could see who's actually already done it or who's doing it. The instructions are listed here. This is what the escape room looks like. And from the teacher side, I can actually see who submitted their work. And then I can actually grade it right on here, and it goes right into grades. And this actually hooks right into our Genesis system. I like the intensity I'm seeing on your faces as you're trying to concentrate. Good job, everybody. So you have about 2 more minutes to finish up, and then we'll go over the answers very quickly. Okay, so let's see how you did. So how many periods are in our typical day? We have a 9-period day, and lunches within those 9 periods. And this year we're able to split the lunches. So we have half of each grade going the first half of the period and the second half going the second half of the period. And it's really actually worked out nicely with our social distancing, and also with just allowing the students the space. It's helped with our lunch lines, but also we've been able to offer like an outside dining option for our students this year. We have really nice picnic tables outside. So a lot of students have been taking advantage of that and eating lunch outside. So that's been really great. SEL stands for social emotional learning. And we offer 3 world languages at RMS. We offer Mandarin, Spanish, and French, which the kids are very fortunate. So if you unscrambled the first one, it was RMS. The second part, if you got to that part, was if your child goes to homework room. So we offer homework room Monday through Thursday from 2:30 to 4, and the parents have to come in and pick up their child at the end of that time. But it is located in the media center, so parents have to come into the media center to check them out. We also offer, for the next question, a before school homework room, which runs at 7 o'clock. So it really helps our parent drop-off line in the morning, so parents will drop their students off, their children off at 7 o'clock until about 7:20 in the front gym. So the answer was front gym for that one. If you happen to be in the school recently, we had our lockers painted a beautiful bright blue, and it really makes the whole building look fresh, clean, and it really pops. So if you did the next part, your locker combination should have been 24, 35, 12. So hopefully you were able to not only get that, but if you were in the school, hopefully you'll be able to open your locker, because probably the biggest challenge the students have the first week is getting their locker opened. But by now they're pros. And it's interesting because even our 7th graders right now have never actually used a locker, because last year we didn't have lockers. So it's really interesting to think our kids really haven't been in school in quite a while. So they're really getting the hang of it and they're finding the way around. The next question says, your homeroom teacher is also your first PRE teacher. That is true. It's actually kind of nice because the kids have that same person for homeroom and first period. It kind of helps with attendance and everything with that. IND is Innovation and Design, and that's run by Mr. Newcamp, who's amazing. If you want to sign up for a fall sport, we're actually very lucky in fall. We offer volleyball, cross country, field hockey, and soccer. So a lot of choices for our students. And then we also have winter sports and we have spring sports. The last question, the 300 hallway, that's our 6th grade. Most of our 6th grade classes are within the 300 hallway. And if you added your math and if you did your mental math, you should have had 47 as your final answer. So if you did that, you're officially a middle school student. And like I said, it's been a really great year. The students have been doing a great job. They really seem to get the hang of their schedule. I think they figure it out pretty quickly, and it's a day 1, day 2, but the kids know where they're going. The 6th graders, 7th graders, they're all doing a really good job. Our 8th graders are pros down that end of the hallway. So we're really fortunate to have them back in school, and it's been a great start to the school year. So without further ado, I know you want to see the kids and not me. So I'm going to turn over to Mrs. Freeman and our students about the steam tank. Mrs. Freeman?
Hello, everybody. It's Betsy Freeman over here at RMS with the wonderful Team Vera, although I would say this is probably 1/3 of Team Vera. The first thing that I would like to do is thank, of course, Mrs. Moffett and Dr. Moss and Dr. Hart for letting us do the kind of projects where kids get to ask their own questions and follow their own thinking to come up with a solution to a problem that is really bothering them in the world. So before I introduce the team, I also have to say thank you to the amazing parents of every single student who did work on this team, because I know the kids worked on it yesterday, the parents drove them back and forth today, and probably to every other of the million activities that they are involved in. So without further ado, let me just bring up this slide, and I will introduce you to the team here. So we have Callum, who's on planning and sustainability for us, Ada, who is actually running tech behind the scenes for us today, which is kind of why I'm really super clumsy with the technology, because usually it's the kids doing it. Noah on engineering and circuitry and electronics. Maya on market research. Marcos, who is virtual with us today and who should be appearing in the bot Vera that the kids are going to introduce. Benjamin on marketing and research, and you guys can wave whenever your names come up too. And then Tanner on form and function, and then of course Brooks, who does our 3D printing and design. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Callum, who is going to go ahead and get us started with the presentation.
Have you ever felt left out of the conversation? Even when people know you're right there, and you're eager to add your thoughts, but it's like no one ever sees or hears you. That's what it can be like being virtual with school. We're Team Voracious, and we solved that problem with our bot, Vera, the virtual ear rolling automaton. I'm Callum, and I was virtual all of last year. and I know the rest of the team spent a lot of time hybrid too. We decided that a problem we could solve right away in GT class was figuring out how we could help tie the virtual and in-person students together better, so virtual students get a better understanding of what's going on in physical, and so their classmates don't forget that they're there too. The year started as a question. How can we make everyone feel like they're actively involved in what they are doing, even when they are miles apart? And one question always leads to another. Benjamin can tell us more.
So, why do some people feel isolated even when there are other people with them in a Google Meet? It gets you thinking about questions like these. How can we feel fully present when we're not physically there? How can I make my voice heard when I'm far away? How do I participate actively when no one sees me? And how can we communicate effectively without eye contact?
We think eye contact is key for engagement in the classroom. And one statistic shows that this year, adults are making eye contact less, only 30 to 60% of the time. Research shows that they should make eye contact 60 to 70% of the time. Finding a way to create more natural eye contact is something Vera is designed for. Noah can share more.
To get started on Vera, we did some research and brainstormed what we wanted in virtual learning too. And we realized everyone wanted to feel like they were there, right in the action together, whether they were virtual or in person.
So we designed Vera to make a mobile in-person box for virtual kids. Vera has a laptop with Wi-Fi access. For sight, she has an extendable web camera mounted on the body with wheels to move. Kids in the classroom can move Vera around to give their virtual classmates a better view of what's happening in class. And they can see eye to eye with their virtual classmates too, because Vera is life-size. Vera's extendable eyes can give virtual students a close-up view on experiments, so the virtual kids can make good observations and suggestions too. Vera also has a large screen monitor that displays the face or faces of students she is representing.
She also has an onboard microphone so the virtual kids can hear what's going on in every part of the room, just like they would in person. And Vera's speakers let the in-person students hear what their peers are saying too. But that's not all Vera has. She has an onboard storage for lab supplies and her portable battery too. Vera doesn't have to be plugged in. When she is at rest, we can remove and charge her up using a portable battery with our own portable solar panel or use a wall outlet.
Vera is all about function for the people in the classroom too. She has a removable whiteboard, flaps as her uniform. Her arms can fold down to create a work table. And a movable light helps people see what they're doing better. We're working on having her head monitor, swivel more. One side is the display, and the other is the magnetic whiteboard that holds handy supplies too. The display side can show Zoom participants, and it can run apps and timers too.
Vera can be used in classrooms with students to engage in classroom activities and discussions. But Vera can extend to more than just classrooms. She can be used in courts, hospitals, as a virtual guest, and possibly wherever she is needed. To elaborate, if Vera were a virtual guest on a late show, the guests would video call in from their home or another location to interact and talk with the host and the audience. This method will be used if the virtual guest could not come in person because of various restraints.
Some next steps we're looking into for Vera is switching from PVC to bamboo. This will make Vera more eco-friendly and sustainable. PVC takes 450 years to biodegrade, while bamboo takes 4 to 6 months. Another sustainable option is switching from Vera plugged into the wall into solar power with our own battery.
We
could also replace some joints with more things that could be useful, like this 3D printed remote joint. We didn't enter Steam Tank to learn. We entered Vera into Steam Tank because we wanted feedback from our experts on our pitch and product, and because we thought we had a good chance to make it to regionals too. And here we are now as finalists, with our last pitch next week. Thank you for all your support on this project. Thank you for your time tonight.
Well done, you guys. I think you can give yourself a little hand on that too. I think one of the things they didn't get a chance to show, I don't know if you saw it, was that Noah was in the background doing an experiment. So any of the work that we were able to do in the class, we were able to move Vera around for a close-up look. And Callum was one of the fully virtual students that we had. And so it was a way that we could show him what was happening with the aquaponics, what was happening with the Vera design, because it was actually stemmed out of one of the questions that he had. So he was able to help design it remotely. I just have to give some additional props to Brooks, who showed the 3D printed pieces, which he actually designed, engineered, and printed himself. And then, of course, Noah and Marcos for their engineering of Vera altogether, Ada for all the technical support, and Lacey, who I think I didn't get to show over here, who was, Lacey, can you get on camera? So we're running actually here with a 4-camera setup in the room. So it's so that everybody could get a view, but usually we have a much more close-up view on that. I'd like to, of course, point to Maya for all her future thinking, Benjamin for his research, and Tanner for getting some of the new functionality we have, and then for all of the amazing other kids on Vera who are not with us tonight. So we're not here at RMS with us tonight. So with that said, we turn it back to you, Dr. Hart.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Freeman. Thank you to the students from Mrs. Freeman's class for joining us tonight. We really appreciate everything that you did to make Vera a true possibility. And I would just want to point out to the members of the Board of Education that this work on Vera really does tie into our strategic work, specifically our inquiry projects. This is exactly what we want students to be able to do. Find a problem, work collaboratively, a real world problem, work collaboratively to solve that problem as well. And part of it is inquiring and trial and error and really trying to investigate a question or concern of their own. So I'm so very proud of our RMS students. Thank you, Mrs. Moffett, Dr. Moss, and Mrs. Freeman for being here tonight. Before Mrs. Freeman, Mrs. Moffett, and Dr. Moss and the students depart, I see that Mr. Zwerling from the board may have a question for the students or for the staff members.
I just want to say that this was simply remarkable, and I just want to say that I would not be at all surprised if we see you either your work at NASA or finding yourselves at MIT or the Woods Hole Institute of Oceanography. Please keep in touch and let us know where you fly to, because we're very proud of what you've done here and what you will end up achieving. Remarkable, absolutely.
Thank you. I do just want to throw in there that it is really like crazy fun sometimes. A lot crazy and then a lot fun too. But when we were thinking about the alternative uses for Vera, Maya, do you want to share some of the like off the wall ones that we had? Do you remember like having Vera, initially we thought of her as for virtual learning, but then she ended up in like hospitals and senior centers and anywhere that people couldn't be when they wanted to connect with people that they cared for. And then we ended up at the Thanksgiving dinner with the Pilgrims and the Native Americans, and Vera like wheeled right up at the table with them. And so I think it's that kind of fun that keeps everybody totally engaged in what they're doing too. That's it. Thank you guys so much.
Dr. Hoare, can I add a comment as well?
Feel free.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate everybody. This was, you guys did an amazing job. That's quite sophisticated, what you've been working on and what you're going to continue working on. It really is certainly relevant, and it demonstrates a lot of teamwork. So a job well done, everybody. We're really proud of you. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to continue with my superintendent's report and move into a sneak preview of the website redesign that we're looking to launch soon. I certainly invite our staff, our students, and our parents who were here to support your children. You're welcome to stay for the rest of our meeting. However, should you wish to depart, that's okay too, no problem. I know that a presentation from the superintendent about a website is not as exhilarating as a BERA presentation from our students. So I want to thank our students once again, Mrs. Moffitt, Dr. Moss, Mrs. Freeman, everyone. This is excellent work. You really are inquirers who are inspiring us. So thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to
Night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So right now you should be seeing it's coming up, the Redington Township Public Schools website redesign presentation. So this presentation is what I would call a rough draft of what we're looking at our website to look like when it's launched. This presentation contains static screenshots of how the website will look, just appearance, not necessarily all of the content, for the district main page. And we'll show you a brief sneak preview of what each school's page will look like. And mostly we're going to focus on, just the color scheme and how the menu drop downs look. So to start out, this is what our main page is going to look like. Basically, we chose color schemes like red to be consistent with our current website. You see our new logo is there, appears prominently up in the top left-hand corner. It says Redington Township Public Schools, and we have our tagline of Together, Inquire, and Inspire. This picture is a stock photo that we already have in our picture gallery. It's of the Redington Board of Ed website. This won't be the only picture that's there. So if you're looking at the picture, all of the pictures that you see in the presentation are simply samples of pictures that could be there. So instead of using pictures of people that we don't know, we decided to use our own stock pictures. And this is just one of many that could appear on the front main page. So that's what the main page is going to look like. You'll see at the top, our menus are going to stay consistent. Home, Board of Education, calendar, our district, HSA, community parents, staff, and our calendar will be there. And there'll be a couple of other buttons in the top right-hand corner as well for easy navigation. On the next, what you'll see is if you go to a main page, one of the top menu items on the main page, there's going to be a hover down menu. So you'll see if you hover over community and parents, what you'll see is a drop down menu like this. Same thing with our district. If you hover over it, it's going to have a drop down menu as well. So this is just the general look of what you're going to see when you first log in to our main homepage. I just want to point out all the way over on the left-hand side, we're going to be using our 3 social media apps. You'll see the icon for Facebook, one for Twitter, and then one for YouTube. The district has a Facebook page. I have a Twitter page, and then we have our Board of Education YouTube page. So we're going to link all of those pages right there to our icons for social media. So they'll have easy navigation directly from our website. So imagine that you're logging onto our main page. This is what's going to come up immediately. And then you're going to start to scroll down a little bit. So as you scroll down, you're going to see something that looks like this, although these stories are going to change and these icons will change. At the top in red and white, you see what we call global icons. So these are like essentially quick links, if you will. They say things like contact us, school closings with a little snowflake next to it, the calendar, a directory, how to do registration, the parent portal, employment opportunities, or the staff portal. So these are just quick global icons of some of our most navigated to websites. And right underneath, you'll see we've converted some of our news stories that are on our website to the announcements section. So we've taken our current content and we moved it over to announcements. So there's going to have 3 tiles that are going to have 3 important announcements on the website. So then imagine that you're scrolling through our website and you continue to scroll down. Next is going to be an in the news section. So this is going to look a little bit different. So the content that is there right now is not going to be the content that will be there when we launch the website. We're going to change this around a little bit, but this is just to show you for demonstration purposes that on the left, probably 2/3 of the website, there'll be other news stories, pictures, and text of events that are happening in the news in our district. You'll see on the right 1/3, that's our quick links menu, but that's where it's going to appear on the new website. But we will update those in the news, recent news stories, so that that content is a little bit more full. And then finally, if you keep scrolling all the way down to our website, you'll see upcoming events for the bottom of the website. So you'll see this is the way the calendar is going to look when the new website is updated. And you can click on a button that says view calendar and it'll bring up the entire school calendar for you. So it's just going to have a new look to it. And then finally, all the way down at the bottom, we're going to include our location, our Google location, our address at the bottom, our contact us at the bottom, and then some helpful links. Again, it might be a little bit of redundancy, but we're going to include employment opportunities, a contact directory, a site map, and right now, for example, we have a placeholder for the public notice of non-discrimination in that part of the website. So this would be at the very bottom. That's the end of the website. Each individual school is going to have a website front page format that'll look very similar to this. Of course, their visit us and contact information will be different. It'll be based off of their individual school location. But some of the website links, like the helpful links, will be consistent. So if you were to navigate to the top of the website, like I showed you before, and click on something like, for example, our district website, this is what a sub page would look like. So you'll see, again, all the way over to the left-hand side, similar to how it is now. This is our community news website. So you'll see all of the community news sub-menus on the left-hand side, and you'll see the main page on the right-hand side where we have our icon or our logo. Something else that I want to point out is up here, right under our tagline, if you can see my cursor, that's what we call breadcrumbs. So it kind of helps you with your site navigation of where you are. So if at any point you kind of go into a portion of the website and you want to get back, you have availability to click back using these links to go back where you were. So that's what our Redington Township Public Schools page will look like. And I'll just take a moment to show you a quick preview of the individual schools. So that this is the Redington Middle School site. Again, this blue bar at the top has all of the menus that the Redington Middle School administration wants to make available to our users, including a home, classroom, our school with information under our school with a sub-menu, athletics, extracurriculars, and our virtual backpack, as well as the calendar. The RMS staff chose blue because they're blue and gold. So they have a blue background at the top. They have their logo here, and they used our tagline, together, inquire, and inspire. And then if you were to hover over, let's say, the students page, this is what it would look like. So we have a contrasting lighter blue with a darker blue, being consistent with their school colors. And then here's the Hollenbrook main page, similar theme. We were aiming for consistency in themes. The Hollenbrook School the website uses gold, and they also use black. They use our district logo, and they are home of the Bobcats. And if you hover over Hollenbrook School, because they're black and gold, they have a black submenu with white text to navigate. And again, remember, these are just stock pictures that we have right now that we're going to update when we launch our website. Here's White House School. They are red and white, so they chose red for the top. They have Cubby over here, their school logo. It says White House School, we are Cubs of Character, which is also their tagline. And if you hover over, you'll see that their sub-menus are white and red, consistent with their school colors. And finally, Three Bridges School, they use the color blue. They have our district icon here, home of the terrific Tigers. And if you hover over the Three Bridges School, you'll see that their colors are red and blue. So they've opted to select red and blue hovering menus. So that's a little preview of Three Bridges School as well. So in summary, we are looking to try to update our content, especially for our main pages, and launch the new website on October 29th is our goal date. Our substitute job fair, which I'll talk about in a couple of minutes, is coming up. And we didn't want to make any big major changes to the website, knowing that some of our candidates for substitutes and bus drivers may need to navigate through our website. We didn't want to change it in the middle of it. We thought we wanted to wait until afterwards. But that's when we're anticipating the launch date. A communication will come out from my office before we actually launch with a copy of this presentation so families can see how the websites are going to look. But I'm really excited about the new, clean, sleek look of our website and look forward to launching it. The final thing I'll say is, although we'll launch on October 28th, there may be some additional back-end work that we have to do to the website while it's live. So we're anticipating that there might be some things that we will need to update on the website even after it's launched. But that's a sneak preview for everyone. Before I exit out of the slide deck, are there any questions or any slides the board would like me to go back to?
Dr. Hart, I don't have any questions, but I would just like to say that I love the new website and I'm looking forward to seeing it. It looks nice and clean and streamlined. So I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you for taking care of that.
You're welcome. And thank you. It's a nice, clean, sleek look, really 21st century kind of look too. Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Simon. And the final announcement that I'll make to the board is our job fair. As many of you know, the labor market has presented its challenges for our entire nation, and this certainly includes our school district as well. A few years ago, those of you who are new to the board, we had a very successful job fair to recruit substitute teachers and some bus drivers as well. So we are bringing the job fair back. We are holding the job fair on October 28th. So please tell your friends, friend us on social media like Facebook, or retweet our ads and send any potential candidates our way. We hope to have a really good number of substitutes to present on the November board agenda. And you, as early as tomorrow, should begin seeing ads and notifications about the October 28th job fair. So look for those things tomorrow. And I think, Jason, we're working on lawn signs and banners and things like that you're going to start seeing pop up around our district advertising for the job fair. Mrs. Simon, that concludes my superintendent's report. I'll turn it over to any other questions or comments from the board or feedback or thoughts.
Where are you going to be sending out the announcements for the job fair? And can you send it to the board members so that we can send it to our contacts as well to get, a good breadth of candidates?
Yep. Great question. We are advertising in the newspaper, through lawn signs, in community news, through our Genesis blast, on our Facebook page, on my Twitter page, flyers in things like grocery stores, post office, maybe grocery stores, post office. Jason's shaking his head. Lawn signs I mentioned. So please, we will send everything to you, board members. If you see a tweet or a Facebook posting, please, feel free to take it, steal it, and repost it on another page or a sub-page, somewhere where we can get the word out as much as possible. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we are open to the public, limited to action items on the agenda. So if you don't feel comfortable speaking, you can put something in the chat message. If we have an answer, we'll respond. If not, we can get back to you at a later date once we research the issue. Are there any comments? Beth, do you want to read the ones that came through?
Yep, I can certainly do that. These comments, I guess, are related to Vera, the amazing STEAM project the kids put together. Comment from Meryl Vance, this is amazing, you all rock. Sarah Haviland said, well done. Alyssa Bulow said, awesome, so proud of you all. Carol Hampel said, this is amazing work, thank you. Colleen Caballero, said, amazing job. Laura Simon said, amazing work, amazing teamwork too. And Julie, is that Flores? I'm going to really botch your last name. Okay. I am blown away. Very well thought out and innovative. I see you all headed for jobs at companies like Google and Tesla. That's it.
That's awesome. Okay. If there's any questions as we go through, feel free to put them in the chat box and we will address those at the next open session at the end of the meeting. Correspondent, sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mrs. Simon. I want to let you know that a member of the public has come here to the board office.
Oh.
And I welcome her to come up, and
well, my question is, I wrote in, so I don't know if my questions are answered. I emailed the way it said to do. So were they received by Bohm? Jay Bohm?
Yes, Mr. Bohm is here.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, if you want to stand up and approach the podium so that way the audience can hear you, because if you speak through the microphone, then the people.
I'm saying the questions I wrote in, I assumed they would be answered, no?
So the way our policy and bylaws work is anything that's sent to the board as an entity is read in correspondence, is sent to the board members in correspondence, which is the next section.
Okay.
Anything that's sent to us also before noon today is also read aloud in addition. So we received yours.
Basically, that might take care of the comments. If not, there is an opportunity at the end as well, correct?
Correct. So you can speak now, or you can also speak later. In addition, we respond to correspondence directly.
That's what I thought. I just couldn't find it yet. I don't mind speaking.
Yeah.
I served on the school board in my past. I'm retired, so unfortunately, that will be maybe you all's nexus that I have to come to board meetings now, because that's what I promised myself in retirement. I tried last month. I'm still disgruntled that this group is not meeting what I would consider publicly, like the rest of the county. What is the issue with that? I don't see the board members here. I'm in shock. I'm Dr. Paula Dunn-Trapello, retired from academia, but why are we still sitting here and I'm the only person and you guys are, I didn't see any mask or need to wear a mask. I apologize. I'd be happy to wear one. But I really showed the agenda to other people, which is much improved, and no one could figure if it was virtual or not. And I would like to understand why this school board chooses to still, what I consider hide. To me, this should be very open with the students here. Is there a reason that, and certainly with the school board here, is there a reason that's not being done? Because I didn't even know if I could physically come. Last time I tried and I didn't see any signs or anything. So I was reassured last time that you were here, but I still don't consider this an open meeting. And I'm wondering why when I went to the Huntington Central meeting and students were there presenting live, and it was very well attended, there were actually tours, and that was last month. And the Township meeting has been meeting regularly in person. So I'm just wondering why that is true of this particular. I live down the road and I'm shocked that I've been here 47 years So that's my first question. The other questions I asked were in relation to budgeting grants and in relation to Mr. Baum, and in relation to critical race theory and what you mean by the curriculum that's listed on your agenda, because I don't know what it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me attend. I'm
Sure.
but I wish there were other people here.
No, thank you. Mrs. Simon, were you able to hear those comments? And, please let me know if there's anything that you wish me to address right now. Some of the questions might need a little bit more research.
That's fine.
Yes, excuse me, I did hear the comments.
Okay.
And it's very nice to see people actually in the meeting. But I believe
Yeah, yes.
And Dr. Hart and I will respond to you after probably within the next day.
But why can't I find out when you're not meeting as the rest of the county? Again, freeholders, everybody. I don't understand it, why the board is not physically present. I'm paying taxes for that.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, because I wasn't in the last meeting, I believe Dr. Hart did explain how we are continuing to be virtual, and we've never had such involvement with the community since we've been virtual. So we have opted for the time being to continue this format because we do enjoy the community being online and giving us their feedback.
But why can't you do both the way the rest of the township and the county is doing? My church is also doing it. We're in person together without masks, as are in many meetings, but you can still have the virtual format going on for people who cannot attend. But I find it odd that this is the only place that's not having a public meeting and that the board members are actually not here. I find that very disturbing as a taxpayer, that you're not physically present.
Well, what all I can say at this time is we will discuss it at a future meeting. And that's all that, all the information I have at this time.
You must have an opinion, or the rest of the board members.
We did discuss it as a board, and this is what was decided.
And Mrs. Simon, you are correct. I apologize, but I think we did talk at the last board meeting. I think Dr. Trapello did call in.
Yes, I asked, and
we
I've
did-
not been
and we
responded
did-
to.
And we did, and Mrs. Hample, I do recall that, to the best of my knowledge, that I did provide, or we provided an explanation at that time as well, which mirrors, Mrs. Simon, your comments too tonight.
Poor explanation. I might go on record as saying, and I plan on pursuing this further, because I don't think it serves the citizens and the taxpayers of the county and the township. And I'd like to go on record as having said that. I'm very happy to go on record. I have a very long academic history and a very long history in this township. My children are very successful in their lives, having gone to these schools. And I am shocked that I come to the one school that's next to my home or farm down the road, and you're not here. I'm very disturbed by that, and I'd like a really good explanation.
Thank you, Dr. Trapello, for your comments.
You're
Mrs.
very
Simon.
welcome,
We appreciate
and I
it.
will be here in the future.
It is, Mr. Baum has your comments in the record.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. And we will be sure to get back to you. I believe that some of the questions regarding finances, Mr. Baum will look up and we will have a formal response to you via email.
I'm more concerned that there's no forum, that there's no open forum. I don't consider an open forum when people are up there on the screen. That's cop-out.
Thank you, Dr. Trapello.
Moving along, the administrative reports. Oh, I'm sorry, correspondence. We had 2 correspondence since our last meeting. One was regarding the COVID-19 testing and the other one was regarding the Eagle Scout. The approval of the administrative reports. Can I get a motion to adopt 1.01 to 1.03, please?
So moved, Carol.
Second, Beth.
Thank you. Are there any questions on those items? Not hearing any. Can I get a roll call, please?
Dr. Cerciello,
Yes.
Mr. Emmons,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes, I do see that Eric has a comment. I don't know if we want to address that before we continue voting.
Eric, is it regarding these items? Or can you wait until after roll call?
It's a minor typo, irrelevant.
Oh,
I'll handle it later.
no, it's okay. What is it?
It's on, let me just open it up. It's on the district goals, and it's on page 21, P1, partnership P1. It says curating patterns. It should be partners. I mean, it's really not even worth bothering stopping the meeting for.
That's
Never
okay.
mind. Never mind.
I got it. I'll take care of it, Eric.
Never mind.
Okay. We had Dr. Cerciello, Mr. Emmons, Ms. Fiore.
Mrs. Flores,
Yes.
Mrs. Bogorski,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Zwirling,
Yes.
Mrs. Sample,
Yes.
Mrs. Simon,
Yes.
passes.
We have the minutes. Can I get a motion to adopt 2.01, please?
So move, Tom.
Second, Camille.
Thank you. Are there any questions or changes on the minutes needed? Not hearing any. Can I get a roll call, please?
Dr. Cerciello,
Yes.
Mr. Emmons,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mrs. Flores,
Yes.
Mrs. Bogorski,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Zwirling,
Yes.
Mrs. Sample,
Yes.
and Mrs. Simon,
Abstain.
passes.
Finance and facilities. Can I get a motion to adopt 3.01 to 3.15, please?
So moved, Carol.
Second, Tom.
Thank you. We have a report.
Yes, we do. The Finance and Facilities Committee met on October the 5th. And the first thing we talked about were capital projects, starting with the Hollenbrook School roofing project. The flashing work has been completed, block arrived, and the work continues. We next talked about the RMS bleachers replacement. That's working very well, and everyone likes the new bleachers. We also discussed the sewer blockage at Three Bridges School. It's right outside the main office area in the front of the school, and the repair work did begin on Saturday, October the 9th. I believe it has been completed. We then talked about maintenance and IT projects. We're going to start window repairs at the Three Bridges School. The money was received from the grant, and this work will begin October the 18th for window security film. That's going to be on the exterior first floor windows on each of the 4 schools. The project should take approximately 2 weeks to complete. We then talked about proposed capital projects for the 22-23 school year, starting with a reserve balance of $3.3 million in capital reserve, $530,000 in the maintenance reserve, and $125,000 in emergency reserve. The plan is to complete the roofing project at Hollenbrook School next summer, costing approximately $1.6 million, which will come out of capital reserve. We'll be able to replenish some of these funds since the bids came in low, and we should end up with approximately a $2 million balance. We also talked about some possible future projects, including district-wide outdoor classroom refresh, a rooftop HVAC unit replacement at White House School and Hollenbrook School, the stage sound replacement at Hollenbrook School, and a board conference room audio visual video enhancement. We then discussed some supply chain issues on most of our products. For example, there's approximately a 9-month delay on insulation for the summer of 22 Hollenbrook School roofing project. The plan is to order some materials sooner than later. And either we store the materials until the project starts, or we consider starting the project in late spring instead of summer. And we're also dealing with bid timelines. We then talked about the bus driver shortage, and we discussed various possible solutions to address the shortage of bus drivers, including having coaches and other staff members drive the buses to athletic events, pay a finder's fee to any staff member who refers a candidate who is hired as a bus driver, pay a hiring bonus. We could also pay extra pay to bus drivers who trained candidates that passed the CDL exam, and we also need emergency bus substitutes. We then discussed that Tewksbury has subs available if we approve this agreement to work with them. And working with Hunterdon Central is also under discussion. We then talked about the Amera Health ACA rebate of almost $72,000. And due to a 15% cap on profit for Amera Health, our district was refunded that amount. The district keeps approximately 80% since the district pays 80% of the monthly healthcare costs, and the current staff who have participated will receive a flat amount that will be refunded to them right before the winter break. We then discussed the Electronic Connect Fund, and the district has been awarded approximately $103,000 for student Chromebooks. This is very good news, and this money was already spent, so it has now been refunded to us. We then talked about some more good news regarding more funding that we received through the ESSER 3 money and the ARP, which is the American Rescue Plan. The district received approximately $614,000 for various usages. And much of this money will be spent on instruction, including remediation and accelerated programs and mental health initiatives. We then talked about the cyber liability insurance, and this could potentially be separate coverage starting in July of 2022, including a multi-factor authentication. This discussion regarding the cyber liability insurance will be addressed later this year. And then we scheduled our next meeting for Wednesday, November the 3rd at 8:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, are there any questions on the minutes or the agenda items? Not hearing any, can I get a roll call, please?
Dr. Cerciello,
Yes.
Mr. Emmons,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mrs. Forrest,
Yes.
Mrs. Pogorski,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Zwirling,
Yes.
Mrs. Hampel,
Yes.
Mrs. Simon,
Yes.
passes.
Moving on to education technology. Can I get a motion to adopt 4.01 to 4.06, please?
So moved, Beth.
Second, Tom.
Second, Carolyn.
And I neglected to mention, we have removed 4.05. So it's actually 4.05 and 4.06. I'm sorry, 4.01 through 4.04. And then 406. Okay, we have a report.
Yes, we do. The committee met on October 4th. We were presented the initial report from the Fall Start Strong assessment. Full board presentation will be next month. We discussed the upcoming professional development days, which were yesterday and today, which included annual CPR training, Stop the Bleed training, and staff wellness. Other highlights include the data workshop, i.e. Link It, iReady, and intervention programs. The Teacher Academy catalog was discussed. There are 29 sessions after school. We have teachers taking scholars program seminars at TCNJ, teaching critical thinking through activities and games, teaching science through issues, stepping out of my comfort zone, raising cultural awareness through mini ethnography, inquiry-based learning in mathematics classrooms. The Special Education Parent Advisory Group, CPAG, they will provide input and advisories to special education and increase awareness. It is co-chaired with the special education parent, so we have more parent involvement. SEL updates, diversity training, a video and CAP. The diversity training, the leadership team is planning next steps. Avidium and Little Avidium. There is a parent academy on October 26th focusing on Avidium. I think I'm saying that right. Avidium curriculum is in grade 8 only. Pilot in November with Stephanie Sperone and Michelle Hoff's classes. All other PE health teachers will teach these lessons starting in February. The Little Avidium curriculum is in grades 2nd and 5th only in the winter and spring months. CAP, which is Child Assault Prevention, all lessons in October, November will be in person. Parent trainings are still being coordinated and will take place either virtually or in person. RMS grade 7 is the teen CAP only, 3 in-person student lessons being taught during health classes. Hollenbrook grades 4 and 5th, there is 1 in-person student lesson, and Three Bridges White House grade 3, there is only 1 in-person student lesson. The ESSER ARP programs will provide home instruction, virtual tutoring for quarantine students, virtual homework help for all students, and accelerate learning for intervention students. And we reviewed more in depth what each of those are. And our next meeting will be November 8th at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you very much. All right. Are there any questions on either the minutes or the agenda items?
Yeah, this is Eric. I just want to know, is 4.05 going to be considered at a later date, or?
Yes. Yes, it'll be back.
Oh, thank you.
Any other questions? Can I get a roll call, please?
Dr. Cerciello,
Yes.
Mr. Emmons,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mrs. Flores,
Yes.
Mrs. Bogorski,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Swirling,
Yes.
Mrs. Hample,
Yes?
Mrs. Simon.
Yes.
Passes.
Moving on to personnel. Can I get a motion to adopt 5.01 to 5.15, please?
So moved, Carolyn.
Second, Anthony.
Carolyn and Anthony? Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. We have a report.
Yes, we do. So the Personnel Committee meeting met on October 4th, and we discussed the following topics: staffing, the redistricting and updated enrollment projections, the job fair planning with a focus on substitute teachers and bus drivers, COVID testing program, the Executive Order 253 update, an organizational chart was updated. The private duty nurse will be needed for an out-of-district student. We discussed that. Other personnel matters, the agenda items on today's agenda of new hires, Lewis Orth salary revision, subs, and other typical agenda items. And then we scheduled our next meeting for Thursday, October 28th.
Thank you very much. All right. Are there any questions on the minutes or the agenda items?
Hi, this is Beth. I have 2 questions on agenda 5.11 for the sustainable jersey. Is there not a Hollenbrook school person listed, or is that? I'm just curious.
Dr. Hart?
We are still looking to see if someone from Hollenbrook School is interested. But for right now, we have, administrative support helping out with their application.
Okay, thank you.
They will apply, though. It's just a matter of finding a teacher volunteer.
Okay, great. And then another question I had on 5.14, just the effective dates. I just was curious why some were effective for October 1, and then there were 2 effective October 16.
I'll answer preliminarily because these are based in route changes and the effective date of the route change, but I'll leave it to Jason to give you more information if needed.
So these time changes are really increases. In essence, we have consolidated our routes as much as possible due to the bus driver shortage. So on paper, we were expecting routes to take a certain amount of time. The routes in reality have taken more time, and drivers that you see listed here have been submitting extra pays since the beginning of the school year. The effective dates are timed with October 1st and October 16th just for payroll purposes, and when they were submitting extra pays through. But in essence, these 4 drivers that you see here have been doing increased hours since September 1st.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Are there any other questions on the agenda items or the report? I would like to say thank you to the bus drivers who have taken on the extra hours. Can I get a roll call, please?
Dr. Cerciello,
Yes.
Mr. Emmons,
Yes.
Mrs. Steele,
Yes.
Mrs. Flores,
Yes.
Mrs. Pogorski,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Zwirling,
Yes.
Mrs. Hampel,
Yes.
Mrs. Simon.
Yes.
Passes.
Moving on to communications. Can I get a motion to adopt 6.01 to 6.01? Okay.
So moved, Carolyn.
Second, Carol?
We have a report.
Yes, we do. I just want to, is that right? At 6.01 and then is it not 6.02?
Oh, so that's a typo.
Yeah, okay.
6.02.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so the Policy and Communications Committee met on September 21st. The committee recommended adopting the following policies included in Strauss Esme's Policy Alert number 223. These are mandated policies. The first one is 6471, School District Travel. These administrative code sections were rewritten to align with the State of New Jersey Department of the Treasury Office of Management and Budget Circular 1611. This new policy includes language updates, but in essence is the same travel policy. In addition to adopting this policy, the committee recommended increasing the annual maximum amount per employee for regular business travel, not requiring prior board approval, from $150 to $200 to adjust for inflation. The committee also recommended adopting policy 8561, procurement procedures for school nutrition programs. This update removes the chart that was previously in the policy, which was Form 358 Federal Funds Procurement Method Selection Chart, from the policy language, and includes a link to the website with the most up-to-date version of the chart instead of having to redo the policy each year as the chart changes. The committee recommended adopting the following policies included in Strauss Esme's Policy Alert 224. Policy 1648.11, the Road Forward, Health and Safety. The Road Forward provides school districts with recommendations regarding safety and health protocols regarding COVID-19 for opening schools safely and effectively at the start of the 21-22 school year. Policy 2422, Comprehensive Health and Physical Education. 6 new statutes were recently approved and codified to address issues that must be included in the school district's curriculum as required by the NJ Student Learning Standards, NJSLS. This is state mandated. The statutes include sexual abuse and assault awareness and prevention education, curriculum to include instruction on diversity and inclusion, incorporation of age-appropriate instruction relative to consent for physical contact and sexual activity, health curriculum to include instruction on mental health, information about New Jersey Safe Haven Infant Protection Act included in public school curriculum, and infusion of African American accomplishments into school curricula. The curricula may be covered in other instructional areas, not just limited to health and physical education. Policy 2467, surrogate parents and resource family. This is a terminology update, specifically the replacement of foster parent with resource family parent. This is also state mandated. Policy 5111, eligibility of resident and non-resident pupils. The statutory language added to policy 5111 addresses residency criteria for a student residing outside the district to be allowed to continue attending school in the district. This is a mandated policy. Policy 5116, education of homeless students. NJSA 18A-38-1 was recently revised and now requires districts to annually report to the Office of Homelessness Prevention in the Department of Community Affairs an accounting of each instance in which the district is made aware that a student enrolled in the district because the student's parents moved from one district to another district as a result of being homeless. Policy 8420, emergency and crisis situations. This was revised to align with the updated statutes by inserting language provided by NJSA 18A 41-1 regarding fire and school security drills. This is state mandated. The regulation to go along with that, 8420.1, fire and fire drills. Regulation Guide 8420.1 also includes added language to directly align with the school district's responsibilities regarding fire safety as mandated by law. I'm sorry, this was a long one. We cover a lot in this meeting. The committee discussed abolishing the following policies. The committee recommends that policies 1648 and 5114 be tabled until November once new policies 1648.11 and 5111 are adopted. Policies 1648.02 and policy 8810 were recommended for abolishment. The 1648.02 remote learning options for families. Now that we are in the next phase of reopening, this policy is obsolete. The governor announced that remote learning will not be an option for families this year, so we recommended abolishing that policy. And then policy 8810, religious holidays. The provisions of this policy are addressed in another policy, policy 2270, religion in schools. So that was all the policy work. We discussed the website rollout. Staff members are working on the web content, as you heard. The website will be down for one day as the new website goes live, and this will be communicated in advance. And then lastly, we talked about press release topics that based on the communications plan. September topic was summer enrichment review and a welcome back. October, capital projects completed and HSA events. And then in November, the topics will be accelerate learning or curriculum, and then highlight of goals. Our next meeting is scheduled for October 19th at 5 p.m. And that is it. Sorry, that was a lot.
Thank you for doing that. All right. Any questions on the agenda items or the report? Not hearing any. Can I get a roll call, please?
Dr. Sosiello,
Yes.
Mr. Emmons,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mrs. Flores,
Yes.
Mrs. Pogorski,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Throne,
Yes.
Mrs. Sample,
Yes.
Mrs. Simon.
Yes.
Passes.
Moving into unfinished business. We have the New Jersey School Board's annual convention, October 26th through the 28th. Jason, do you have any update on that? Did you want to say anything?
So the conference this year is virtual due to the pandemic. All board members are signed up as well as all administrators. If you have any trouble logging in to the workshop, just let me know. It is the same username and password that you have for school boards. So if you go to school board's website and try that right now, you can reset your password. But otherwise, the links go active usually the morning of the conference. So October 26th will be the first time you can test out joining the meetings themselves.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, a shameless plug, if I could. I don't think they've put out an agenda yet, but myself and a few folks from Randolph were actually presenting on the 28th. So I invite you to attend and give us some feedback, talking about how we're using we're a Microsoft district as opposed to Google, but the tools that we're using to, I don't know, aid student learning, student portfolio creation, digital notebooks, things of that nature, specifically in a mathematics classroom. So myself, Jonathan Olson, our director of secondary education, and a couple of our teachers as well. So come on by.
Sounds exciting.
Thanks.
Anyone have any other unfinished business?
Just a question about the conference. If considering that the board and the administrators all have access to it, if there was a teacher interested, is that something that they can do or no?
So there's a limit on how many participants can go to conference workshops on the group rate. If a specific person wanted to join, you would have to pay extra, and they would, in essence, just need to fill out the travel form. So the answer is yes, but they would need to request it and fill out the travel form.
But I guess I could say, maybe to Carol's point, right? And Jason, what you just said, a certain number of licenses, right? Like if I'm already registered as part of, Randolph, right, the district there, somebody could have my seat essentially, no?
Technically, yes.
Okay, just for the right, Carol. I don't know if you asked, on somebody specifically on someone's behalf, but those teachers who might be listening, I guess if they're interested, there may be at least that one seat available. So hope that helps.
The pricing is the same whether it's teacher or board member. There's no difference.
So there is no difference. However, I need to adjust the membership in school boards, which takes about 48 hours. So it is possible. It just requires some additional upfront work.
Okay, thank you. Any other unfinished business?
Yeah, Jason, someone can take my seat as well if they're interested.
The information will be available even after the event is over. Just so you know, if you're not available during the day, you can do it at another time. Just so you know. New business from the board. Don't forget the election, November 2nd. Go ahead, get out the vote. Is there any other new business from the board?
I'll just add to the voting comment. I don't know how publicized it is, but they're doing in-person absentee ballots the week of the 23rd through the 31st at libraries. There's a flyer out there. You go and you use a machine. I don't know if you can go to the county clerk's office this year, but they have a different program in place this year where you're using a machine, but it's in-person absentee voting. For anyone interested, go to the county clerk's website.
Thank you. Anyone else? Not hearing any, we'll move to open to the public. Anything on or off the agenda? Are there any new comments?
Nope, not that I've seen.
All righty. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Beth.
Second, Tom.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Cerciello,
Yes.
Mr. Emmons,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mrs. Flores,
Yes.
Mrs. Pogorski,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Zerlin,
Yes.
Mrs. Sample,
Yes.
and Mrs. Simon.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.